Okay, so this is a brief tutorial on the MC glitch flap. Saw this category was dead, so figured that this would need one. So this is my PowerPoint presentation. Welcome to Glitching 101. So yes, first thing is general tips. So the number one thing you really want to keep in mind for this is that you need to practice this. This is not just something you hop into and go for the Shroomless glitch. The Shroomless glitch is by far the hardest part. It's pretty crucial if you want a good time, and also it just makes sense because otherwise you're throwing away glitches for no reason. So, what I think the best way to practice for the checkpoint is using free fly or moon jump. Free fly is amazing for this because you can literally just fly across the whole track in like 10 seconds and then get an attempt. Moon jump is also good, but you need to drive an entire lap to use it. So I recommend getting free fly. I don't remember how to get that. I literally got it like 10 years ago, but I'm sure there's good tutorials out there. Second is the one shroom flap. It's, you've probably, a lot of people who are trying this have already like got quite a lot of those. So you just do the glitch with a shroom and then do the checkpoint. I don't like save states or dolphin for this because dolphin it's not on the same conditions as your actual attempt, because I like to look at so when you get to the checkpoint, your alignments are very precise on the screen, and I found that on dolphin it just wasn't the same. I wanted to practice on the same screen as my actual gameplay, like during the real attempts. So yeah, I would really highly recommend getting free fly or moon jump for this, because you can literally do attempts just like they were in the real game. So basically you get the flap like 100 times and then you actually get it after a shroomless glitch. And yeah, general tip also is to not go that far into the checkpoint, because if you're not far enough, then you don't get the lap count. You can just try again. So much better than getting a terrible lap count. So sort of playing it safe is not going that far in. And the late lap count is so much better than an early lap count. It's literally like, I think it can be like 0.3. You can get it on the turnaround at different points. The late one is so good. And yeah, then another one is that record your attempts just to be safe. There's been many cases where videos have been lost because people just slam themselves into the tree for like 100 minutes. The timer's maxed out, then they get a flap. So yeah, please try to get the ghost saved, man. This category has like the worst proof standards of all time. So yeah, basically what I do is I try the glitch to like 4 minutes and then I reset. But yeah, just record in case, because I'm sure it will still count if you get it at like 99, but ideally save your ghost. Right. So then to go on to the Shroomless glitch, which is basically the main thing you need to know. The rest is kind of easy peasy, I think. So yeah, you want to use the shadow in the middle of the road. There's the shadow is kind of weirdly shaped. I'll put like some video playing here. But the shadow is weirdly shaped. You want to go from like kind of the third prong into the right, and you want to align yourself so Funky is kind of over a white block on the road that's further from you and like closer to the tree. So you want to be slightly, one that's so Funky is covering it, maybe slightly to the left more than to the right of it. And you want to be inside the shadow a little bit. You don't want to be in front of the shadow, but you don't want to be too far into the shadow. There's kind of a sweet spot you get, just a tiny bit into the shadow, and you'll be fine. Or to like towards the shadow, but you want to be to the right of the shadow a little bit. And yeah, I mean, at that point, it's really not that precise. It's just you want to have the right angle so you can make it. Because yeah, so you just wheelie and you hold right at some point. If your alignment is further to the left, you hold right earlier. If it's further to the right, you can hold right later. It's really not that precise. It's just kind of random to get a high clip. And yeah, you want to tail dive after you get the high clip to make sure you make it. And I'll put I'll put the different fails. So basically, there's a couple of fails you can get. There's no air off the curb. That just happens. I don't know. It's just a fail. It's you shouldn't really focus that much on it. You'll get air like a lot of the time. Medium clip is probably the best type of attempt. You since it's basically you were just very close to getting high clip, but you just didn't. It happens all the time. I think I'm not going to give any ratios, but it's a very common fail. And then if you fly towards the right, it's you're just too far left. And I think the more air you get, like the more momentum you get towards the right, the better. Because then you have more speed, so you'll get more air if you do get a high clip. And of course, if you miss the tree, you're too far right. And then you can also get a high clip, but you hit the top of the mountain, which is it happens, man. I don't know why. Like this session, it happened to me like maybe like it's about the same time, same amount of times as I got the glitch. Actually, I think I got like 3 glitches and I hit the mountain 3 times. So yeah. And then the checkpoint, I try to align with the middle line. It's probably not the fastest method. Ideally you would probably be more to the left, but it's incredibly consistent because you just align funky with the middle line, and you're always at the same spot because the visual cue is so good, and so you just aim funky. So he's just like towards the middle line forever, basically. And then there are these black dots on the arrow on the right side of the screen that I used to sort of align use as a visual cue. But also many people have different visual cues. So if you already have a good visual cue from the 2 shroom flap, just use that. But this is just what I do. So so if you're at the middle, there's a black dot on the arrow, and then there's 3 black dots after that. So you want to have the first black dot outside of the screen. So you want it to be off screen. You'd want it to be just so the black dot is barely off screen, and then you want to turn around. And then you should get an early lap count. If you're too far in, if you can still see the black dot, it probably won't count. And if the black dot is too far off screen, you'll get a late lap count, or an early lap count, I mean. But yeah, basically you just want to practice this as much as you can. Like this is really just down to getting getting a good idea of what you're doing here. It really isn't yeah, you just need to get an idea of it. But these are just the general things that I use. People have a lot of different methods for this, so if you have a good one, just use it. Use what you're used to. And yeah, just driving, I don't really know what to tell you. It's literally just doing the 2 shrooms. I wouldn't recommend going for the curb ride on like your first shroom glitch or anything. Like, I mean, I have an 8 flap and I don't even go for it. It's legit not required for an 8-second flap, so I wouldn't risk it unless you're like constantly getting them or you're really confident. But yeah, what I do is I just use the first shroom. I release my MT. I jump into the cut. I make it so my bushes, I go through the 2 bushes. Pretty good visual cue that I was taught. And then the 2 shroom cut, you wanna just what I do is I try to enter the cut during the red section where there's the red stripes on the curb. And if I want to play it safe, I'll go in a little bit later. If I want to risk it, then I'll go in a little bit earlier, maybe even before the red stripes, but that's really risky. And yeah, when your shroom runs out, you just release the empty. That's basically all you need to know. I mean, the driving is very simple. and you should already know that if you should already know that if you're going for this. So yeah, I mean, it's I hope someone finds this useful. Good luck.